What's going on, guys? This is Benny Ricciardi with FTN Bets with a bankroll building idea for you guys to take a look at for Monday Night Football. One of the partnerships we have is with a site called Monkey Knife Fight, and they are offering a deposit bonus for any first time depositors. You deposit $50, you get matched $50 on it. They have some contests going for the Monday Night Football game tonight, and I have one that I think you guys can use if you're trying to build your bankroll. So we're going to take a look at what it's all about, how you go about doing it, and how we can make some money today. So here's the bankroll building opportunity I was talking about. If you go over to monkeyknifefight.com, you can register for a new account and use code FTN. If you use code FTN, they're going to give you that $50 deposit match. You put in 50 bucks, they match it for you. So you have another 50 bucks on top of that to play with. So here's the play that I'm looking at for Monday Night Football. So once you put in that $50 and you get matched with the $50 instantly, you're going to have $100 to play with after that happens. If Sony Michel is out tonight, you can make this play. It's called more or less. So when you're looking over there, you're going to see at the top of the screen, you go to the New England New York Jets game, you go to the top of the screen, and you're going to see something that says more or less 5x. So the more or less 5x is Cam Newton over or under 206 passing yards, Joe Flacco over under 205 and a half passing yards, and Damian Harris more or less than 55 rushing yards. Here's the reason why I like these three, which we'll talk about in a second. If Sony Michel is out, you can actually make this play by adding Damian Harrison for the third one. So you can make a play that if all three of these hit, you get 5x whatever amount of money you put in. Now remember, we put in 50 bucks, they gave us 50, so we got $100 to play with. So if we make this play for $100, it would return $500 at the end of the night if we win. Now, if Sony Michel does play, we're going to have to worry about what kind of workload that Damian Harris has. Technically, they have four running backs, and they're all going to play there in New England. It's the hardest thing to do is to try to figure out which running backs are going to play. I like this Harris play a lot more if Sony Michel's out because he's going to handle a lot of the between the tackles running. Well, guys like Rex Burkhead and James White take everything on the outside. If he does happen to play, you can see that if you go to the more or less 3.5x, you have the same opportunity to use Cam Newton and Joe Flacco. I like the 5x one better if he doesn't play because you can also add in Damian Harris and obviously get a bigger return on it. But if Sony Michel does happen to play and you don't want to take the chance with Harris, you can do it with just the two quarterbacks in there. So remember, $50 deposited, $100 bet. If Sony Michel's out with Damian Harris included, you would win $500 or a 10x return on your deposit if he wins. 10x return on your deposit is pretty good. If Sony Michel does play, you're only going to be able to do it with the two quarterbacks for a 3.5x here. But that's still $50 deposited, makes you have $100 to bet. You put that $100 in at 3.5x, you're going to have $350 at the end, which is 7 times what you deposited. Again, a very good return on the investment that you made. Now, here's the reason why I really like these numbers. What I did is I went to DraftKings and I clipped out the 3 players that we're talking about here so you can see why these numbers are so important. You go over to Cam Newton and you look at his yards right there in the last column. That's his passing yards through the first, I think he missed a game or two. So like the first 5 or 6 games that he played. He's only thrown for over 200 yards in one of the 6 games that he played. And it was in that Seattle game where they went back and forth throughout the entire game up and down the field. He had Julian Edelman there who made a bunch of big plays in that game. N'Keal Harry was there as well. Both of those guys are injured here. His receiving core is basically decimated right now, which is part of the reason why they're going so run heavy. Not only does Cam run a lot, but they're also running a lot and throwing a lot of these short screen passes out of the backfield to the other running backs that they have in the stable. Joe Flacco is going to be making his 3rd full start here. And as you can see, he hasn't got over 200 yards in any of his starts anyway. And then the third thing we want to look at is the Damian Harris numbers. So Harris has played in 4 games this year, starting in week 4, going to week 8. He's ran for 100 yards in 2 of those 4 games, had 58 yards in the other game. And he's doing this on low volume too, 10 carries, 16 carries, 17 carries. The game against Denver where they were trailing, he only had 6 carries in that game for 19 yards. I really don't think they're going to be trailing the Jets tonight. And I really think the easy way for New England to try to get a win here, play decent defense because the Jets aren't going to put up a lot of points, and just keep pounding the run. So it's a perfect game for a guy like Damian Harris, assuming that Sony Michel is not playing tonight. So you look at these 3 things and you say, okay, well, Cam has only gone over 200 yards in one of his 6 starts. Joe Flacco hasn't done it yet as a Jet, and he may be without his best receiver if Jamison Crowder is not playing tonight. Crowder's listed as doubtful, so we don't exactly know what's going to happen, but I still wouldn't expect the Jets to put up massive passing yardage numbers here. And then Damian Harris is a guy that if they're going to pound the run and concentrate on it, he's got a chance to put up a big game as well. So all three of these things are more than likely to happen. And like I said, if we use the deposit bonus, $50 out of your pocket could be $500 returned at the end of the night, or $50 out of your pocket could be 350 returned if Sony Michel plays and you don't want to go with the Damian Harris one. So this is the idea that these bankroll builders, these opportunities for bonuses that these sites are going to give you, is a good way for you to make a big score and have a nice little chunk of money there. If you can make a score using $50 to go 10x and get $500 in your account, that's going to be something nice. You don't have to leave it all in there on Monkey Knife Fight. You can even take some of that money out, put it in your PayPal account, go do something cool with it, or even use it for some other bets and things that you want to do. But it is a very good way to get a good return. Most of the time on a parlay, which is basically what this is, you're not going to get the kind of return that you're able to get over here on Monkey Knife Fight. A lot of times you might get maybe 2x or 2.5x or so. And then even something with the three things that you're parlaying together, you try to parlay these three props together, you're going to get for $50. If you try to parlay these three props together, you're going to get a payout of like $250 or $300. Using this bonus money, you get a payout of $500. So it's even better than making these parlay props over on like a sports betting site and doing it on like a DraftKings or a FanDuel. So get over to Monkey Knife Fight. Remember, monkeyknifefight.com, register, use promo code FTN. They'll match your first deposit up to $50. So take advantage of that and put the whole $50 in so you get the full deposit match. Then you got $100 to go out there and make a play tonight. Even if you don't like the play that I'm talking about here, if you see something else that you like, by all means, go and fire it. Don't let these bonuses go to waste, because sooner or later, they're not going to offer them anymore. And you're going to be upset that you didn't take advantage of it when you could. This has been Benny Ricciardi with FTN Bets. Good luck and go get that money.